Yo, 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 what's good, YouTube? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back welcoming you to the Friday night chop session with Stormybman for this Friday, October 1st, 2021. And this is number 127, and we're calling it Undisputed Under What Conditions? Yes, sir, we are back. And we are here to talk boxing again. It's been a long week. Glad to get to this weekend. That makes us one weekend closer to the fight that everybody is talking about, man. The fight that everybody wants to see. The fight that's on everybody's lips, man. We're talking about Fury Wilder 3. And between now and the next weekend, the weekend of the 9th, is when that fight will be taking place. And all of us will have a stock, a stake, and something to make of this fight as it comes up, man. I'm telling you, it's one of the biggest fights in recent memory. We're going to be talking about it on this channel a lot. But over the next few days, I got a video dropping after the show, and it's on Tyson Fury. So for those of you who like to tune in for Stormybman's content, there will be a video following the show about 10-15 minutes after the show. It'll premiere. I've already done a Wilder video, and we're going to go back and forth with various content on the two fighters all the way up until fight night. And then the evening of the fight, we will have a post-fight show where we will go live. I know everyone out here who has a channel and everything is going to want to go live, and we're going to be talking about this fight, man. It's going to be sensational. So, with all of that being said, we'll do that, and we'll find ways to work it all in as we get through the week ahead. And if you guys hadn't checked out the Deontay Wilder video, what are you waiting for? Because Stormybman dropped one. Hey, man, it's called Deontay Wilder, Hard Work and Rededication. And it's really tracking at the top of the algorithms. Deontay has become a person that he allows his actions to speak for him. And some of us who support him in the most positive of ways, he allows us to do it as well. And we try to do our best and showcase the champ in a favorable light, because it seems like there is an agenda out there to discredit or not credit the champ with what he rightfully deserves and the position that he has earned to be in today's state of boxing. So again, welcome to everybody out there. I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but the Friday night chop session with Stormybman Studios has taken on another paint job, and I hope you guys like this one. If you don't like it, get used to it, because Stormybman likes it. For some reason, I gravitate toward the neutrals. They're more calming, and they kind of pop when you are putting things around them, so of color and colorful nature. So this is just something that I've been working on, and thought I'd present it to you all this evening. And this is what it's going to look like going forward. Same studio, it's just a new coat of paint, so to speak. So welcome one and all out there. We can get into this and start talking about who is out there in the chat, man. I know that sometimes I can't pull up the original people in the chat for whatever reason. I don't know why I can't do that, but I'll try to go back up. We got the poll up there, and I was looking, I can't even read my poll. Why is that? I can't read the poll. What is going on? Can you guys see the poll? Because I can't see my poll. It's like covered up on my screen or something. I don't like that, man. This is, what are they doing? Basically, the poll is asking which division is more likely to follow suit with Undisputed again. We know what we've got, and it looks like right now you got two guys. You got Jermell Charlo and Josh Taylor. Those two brothers are holding on to their belts with a death-like grip, and we would like to see some of the other divisions follow suit as they go out there. And somebody said no poll. Eric R says it's no poll out there. Well, you know what? I don't know why. Maybe that's why I can't see it. It says that it's, oh, okay. Man, YouTube is a trip. I created a poll for you guys. Let me take a quick moment and put it in the chat for you. How are YouTube gonna take my poll down before I do my show? Huh? That's crazy, man. I created this like 2 days ago. Let me get to you guys real quick. See. Just bear with me, brothers and sisters, as I finish this poll up for you. I can't believe they took my poll down. It wasn't even nothing, you know. Let's see. Okay, I just put it up there, brothers and sisters, if you could see it. It says which division will likely have undisputed, you know, following on the joints of what we've seen with Josh Taylor at junior welter and Jermell at junior middle. Which one of these divisions do you think is more likely to end up with undisputed within the next year? Because it takes time, you know, they don't rush these things. But I wanted to find out from you guys out there, and take your time, enter that poll, and we'll see what your thoughts are. I can see the numbers climbing and declining and everything already. So everybody is participating. I like that, man. That's pretty cool. And while you guys focus on that, let me get back to the business at hand. You know, Stormybman on the Friday night chop session. I have to pay the bills coming in, and then I'll get to my roll call because I know people are out there. Please smash that like button if you come into the building. It's nothing wrong with showing support by hitting that like button. But we want to remind everybody out there listening that there is a link for merchandise in the description box of each and every video and live stream content. So you could click on that. It'll take you right over to the store for Stormybman merchandise. We've had a few sales this week, and I'm very proud to say that some of that merchandise is moving along, man. I really appreciate that support for that. But as a reminder, when we do this, This is just, you know, helping to promote the brand. And we got things out there like these wonderful Stormy B-Man t-shirts here, like you see on the screen there. And they come in several colors. We've got the Stormy B-Man hoodie that is similar to the t-shirt in colors. It wears well. Love my sweatshirt, man. I'm always wearing it during the show because it's a little chilly down here in my room where I'm doing my show from. And we've got the rain jacket, the packable rain jacket, which serves also as like a little windbreaker. That thing is pretty nice. It has a zipper pocket across the center where when you're not wearing it, you can roll it up and tuck it into that packable zipper lining and carry it like an umbrella. So that's good stuff right there. You know what I mean? And then don't forget, we also have the Stormy B-Man backpack for those of you who like to take your gear on the road with you. You're going to the gym or something like that. Made by Champion. This is a great bag. It comes in a couple of different colors. Got the Stormy B-Man logo on there. You know, the logo is kind of, you know, it's small. It's like, you know, I don't have to brandish it all large and everything and, you know, make people feel like they wearing bifocals when they looking at the logo. It ain't got to be like that. It's subtle sometimes is really nice. And then don't forget, we also have the snap caps, the baseball hats. These are nice, come in several different colors. We'll be changing the colors up from time to time, but I'll tell you something. The Stormy B-Man snap caps have slowed down. You guys need to get you some of those, man. Those are pretty cool. I'm going to tell you, man, this stuff right here, show some love, show some support. Get you some of this Stormy B-Man merchandise, man. It's real subtle, but I'll tell you something. It's nice. Very fine quality products, okay? And you'll be happy. And lastly, for y'all who like to have your little drink on and everything, we got the coffee mugs out there with the Stormy B-Man logo on there. And I'm going to tell you something, for some of you tea sippers out there like VideoStack, when you put it in this mug here, it's not see-through. So, you know, if you got you some phentamine in there or something like that, ain't nobody going to be able to see it. You know what I mean? They won't know. But when you're in the gym, you put it in your Stormy B-Man mug and you be all ready. Ain't that right, Oscar? Yes, sir. So that's the Stormy B-Man merchandise, man. And also as a reminder, I haven't got my commercial yet, but Stormy is still a spokesperson for the Black Gentleman's Grooming Company. My man Junior the Truth out there. He didn't show me how I could get that commercial uploaded, but I'll have the commercial on here as soon as I can get it done. But yeah, go on over there, get you some of those handcrafted products, man. I love the deodorants. I love the colognes, man. The beard oils. All of that stuff is very nice, man. Smells nice. You put that on and the underwear fall off. I'm telling you, that's how it works when you wear some of that Black Gentleman's Grooming Company products, and it's outstanding. But you can go over there when you order something, order a bundle of things, and then when you enter the code Stormy B-Man, you get 10% off of your purchase merchandise. So it's great for everyone involved. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we can get on into our roll call for the evening. Let's see who we got out there. Chat moving along pretty quickly. So I'm going to go back up as far as I can. I know that we have a number of people out there this evening that popped in and popped out already. Some people just like to come and hit the like button and keep on moving and going over to the porn websites and stuff like that. So they can't help themselves, but at least they show a little love and respect for Stormy by hitting the like button. And I'm glad they hit the like button before they go to the porn sites, because they don't need to get the keyboards all sticky and everything. You know what I'm saying? We got, I know there's a few people in there before. My man Dre Finest is out there. He says, salute fam, can you dig it? Young World says, yo, salute Big Storm. And salute to the chat. Curtis Price is out there, says, Stormy B-Man, like Don Cornell. He says, peace and soul. Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens, my partner out there, saying, salute my peoples. Reggie should be joining us shortly. And Big Homie Coop is out there saying salute Sifu. Backsmack the like button. And class is in session, so pay attention. That's right. Big Homie Coop is always up there, man, with that warning, right? Because you got to say that the teacher's coming. That's right. Jose Diaz is out there, says, this fight is more than boxing. You better believe it, Jose. That I couldn't have said it better myself. This fight is more than boxing. Young World says, looks good, Big Storm. He says, Jose Diaz says, have a great one. He said, looks good. Thank you. Thank you. You guys talking about my studio look. Glad that you like it, man. Fresh coat of paint goes a long way sometimes. Jose says it's going to say Wilder wins by KO. Okay, and I corrected the poll issue. Thank you, Eric R., for letting me know that the poll wasn't up there for you guys. Syriat 357 says, salute Stormy B. Salute to you. Daryl Alexander says no, talking about there was no poll up there. Thrill Hill is back saying, salute Stormy B. Salute to you. Eric R. says, I think you have to pin it. You know what? I did. I pinned it, but maybe next time I won't pin it until I get ready to start the show. Because when I started the show, I mean, when I keyed up the show, it was there. And it had one vote on it or something. Okay. I see that. Okay, my man, Scrapbook Boxing is out there. He says, Stormy B, what's good, brother? What's good with you, Scrapbook? Man, we had a wonderful show last night on the Three Wise Men of Boxing. For you guys that don't tune in to the Three Wise Men of Boxing, you have no idea what you're missing. We had last night a profile on Ezra Charles, and boy, did we do a great show, man. Great breakdown of the career of Ezra Charles, one of boxing's greatest heavyweight champions and fighters overall. Ezra Charles, salute to him. And Scrapbook Boxing has another historical boxing conversations with Scrapbook coming up this Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central. So tune in for that for more of the brother Scrapbook Boxing. Mark Stearns is out there saying, salute King, Stormy B Man and the family. Salute to you. And Young World says, go ahead, Big Storm. Beautiful merchandise. I appreciate that, Young World. Now it's time for you to get on over there and get you something, man. I want to see you guys wearing some Stormy B Man merchandise. Also, let me remind for those of you who are channel members out there, please start using the emojis that you have at your disposal, because I said it last night on the Three Wise Men. We didn't have a lot of the channel members in there last night, but sometimes they pop in on the Friday night chop session. It would be nice if you guys start exercising using those emojis, because that's what they're there for. It's for you to stand out in the chat, and you get your comments and things of that nature read quicker when I can see the family out there. Mike 202 is out there, says, blessings, Sensei. Blessings to you, bro. And MPW2TF is out there, says, salute, Sensei and chat family. I picked heavyweight as my choice. Okay, we're going to talk about that a little bit. Let's see what else we got. Everybody saluting one another. Let's see. See, I got a little smarter. I put the chat on my phone, and I'm holding my phone closer to me. So, you know, even when I got my extra set of eyes on, you know, Stormy be having times it's hard to read stuff. So that's all a part of getting old, y'all. Getting old. You know what I'm saying? Kano Loco Sports is out there. He says, salute. What's good with you, Kano? Good to see you back, brother. Good to see you back. And my man, Mike 202. That's how you do it. See, Mike 202 put those emojis out there, man. You got Priest Pai Mei. You got Bruce Lee with his little smile and smirk and his scream. You got Monk Sante and Jackie Chan. That's right. We got, you know, yeah, for the Kung Fu in you, but there's some others. Okay. There's some others. There's some Deontay Wilder emojis out there too. So I don't know what you guys just waiting for. You got to use those, man. That's what they're there for. Use them up. Big Texas ATX Cletus Smith is out there, says, salute Stormy B Man, Sensei, salute to you. And he also is saluting the chat family. All right. Right now with the poll, we are at 43% for people thinking that we will likely have Undisputed at heavyweight next. And that's followed in a close second by welterweight with 41%. And I'll leave this poll up till we get close to the end of the show because people may change their minds. Okay. Middleweight brings up the third at 14%. And light heavyweight is at 5%. See, these divisions, man, they have a chance. When is Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev gonna bang it out? Because they got some young guys coming up behind them. There's some light heavyweights out there, man, that's going to be making a name for themselves, you know, maybe starting in 2022. So some of those veterans may have to move by the wayside. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. But we have to keep our eye on that light heavyweight division. Let's see. Now we're back. Jose Diaz says, everybody wants to see you Wilder break Fury's chin. Mark Stern says, facts on the eyewear, Stormy. Aging ain't no joke. Yeah, man. I'm sitting up here, man. I got glasses on and still need glasses. What is up with that? And I got a new pair. I'm like, dude, what's going on? Nitty G is out there saying, salute family. Salute to you, Nitty G. Glad to see you back. And listen, man, we can talk about a few things. Everybody know that as far as what's happening in the sport, they officially announced Sean Porter and Bud Crawford's fight. So that fight's coming up in November. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I don't know if people want to see that fight or not. You guys are I'll have to do a poll on another live and see how you guys feel about a Sean Porter and Bud Crawford fight. Because I don't hear too many people talking about that very much. You know, only the fact that they've been talking junk to each other. But let's start hearing about what y'all think. Now, I know Kano Loco Sports on his live stream. Salute to Kano. He was talking about it last weekend. And I told him, and I told L-Dub and everybody else out there that listen, that Bud gonna knock Sean Porter out for the first time in Sean's career. Don't get mad about it, people. But that's just the way it's gonna go down, okay? Like Sean Porter's going down. See, anytime somebody come out with those outrageous outfits like that, they deserve an extra beat down. You know, I'm sorry, Sean, but you need a wardrobe person, because when you come out there wearing those ugly outfits, man, you look like somebody that escaped from Halloween. You understand? It's as simple as that. Let's see. Mike 202 says, hold up, Stormy, I don't see any Wilder emojis. You don't see them? They should be there, bro. Let me double check. Give me a second. See, Mike 202 is a good, cool brother. He be out there. He try to keep things going for us OGs out here, because we be kind of missing things sometimes, and people like that have their scopes and they can check things out much quicker. Let's see if I can pull this up where the emojis are. Nitty G says, those outfits are ridiculous, aren't they, man? It's like, this, who dresses this brother? You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, when I was 6 years old, I could dress better than that, man. You know what I mean? I used to put a tie on with a t-shirt and underwear. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, I was sharp. Mama took pictures and everything. But, yeah, I don't know, man. Sean, we're going to have to talk, brother, about that wardrobe. I might give you a little more credit if you go in there against Bud if you had a better wardrobe taste, but I don't know if that be the case for you. Can't give you too much credit if you ain't done it yet. Because sometimes he have on some stuff that it look like it's platinum, and sitting in front of those TV cameras and everything, it's like blinding to the eyes. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting up there and it's like bing, you know, I mean, come on, man. You know, and then when they show those little leprechaun shoes he be wearing, man, you know he's a short dude, so his feet got to be a size 3.5 or something. So, you know, dude, you can do better, huh? You can do better. Let's see here. Pulling up the memberships. It took a while for this to pull up. Mike 202. My laptop is slowing down. I guess I need to do a better job of eliminating stuff. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, okay. I see what that is. Mike 202. I was considering the badges for the channel members and the emojis. Right now, the emojis are all martial art film guys, and the badges are my logos and one image of Deontay, which I guess when you get to a certain period of time, your emoji, your badge will change to that. So that's what that is, Mike 202. But thank you for writing that in the chat for me, because that made me more aware of what I'm looking at. So the badges are for the channel members. Like you got that Evander Holyfield badge next to you right now, Mike. And then some people will have the Stormybman logo with the boxing gloves, the Stormybman logo with the script, and then the boxing gloves with the gold circle around it, and then it'll be eventually a Deontay Wilder badge. So, but that's what that is, and now we can get back to our scheduled program. It's like, you know, Stormy be out here, man. I have to learn how to do some of this stuff. You guys help me through, and I appreciate those who stick out there with me to do that, man. I really do. Let me get back to the chat real quick. Let's see what we got here. Nitty G says, I really like that fight. I have Bud winning, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as most people think. From what I'm hearing, most people don't think it's going to be easy, bro. It's like most people are treating it like, you know, Sean gonna be tough on Bud and all of this and run him out of the ring and bully him and all of that kind of stuff. People don't realize Bud, if anybody gonna be a bully, it's gonna be Bud. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Huh? Eric R says, I want to see what it looks like when Sean gets up close and personal. I don't know about that, Sensei B, man. He says, because Sean had a loud suit on for Danny Garcia too. Yeah, man, them outfits. When he comes out of the dressing room, they should automatically send him back in there. Huh? Jose Diaz says, it will be exciting. Bud wins by knockout. See, Jose Diaz been watching the Stormybman channel. That's a smart man right there. Very smart. Highly intelligent. Young World is saluting Mike. Eric R says, that's when you know Kenny Porter moved out, when Sean started dressing himself. Oh, man. You know what it is? No, I ain't going to say that, because then that'll start a fight. Sean be showing up on my doorstep. I ain't going to say that. Nitty G says, I don't believe Bud will stop Porter, but if he does, that is a big statement. Nitty G, stick around. Okay? You'll be coming back on that comment. Eric R says, maybe that's an Ohio player thing, that dress code. Hey, be careful now. Junior the Truth gonna pop up in here on you, Eric R. Rasheed Rourke is out there saying peace to everyone. Jose Diaz says, I hope Bud doesn't does not come out. Oh, I hope Bud doesn't not come out. And I know Bud does it having a lot of fights, but he's special. Let's save it till after the fight. Okay. Mark Stern says Sean is straight out of a comic book. Yes, sir. Jose Diaz says, yo, I thank God we're getting fights every day. I'll even pay for Canelo. Maybe not. Listen, man. Stream Canelo's fights, okay? Stream them. Don't get that fool no extra money, man, because he spends all his money getting his special PEDs shipped inside of beef that's tainted with clenbuterol, huh? Because that's what they test the beef for, clenbuterol. But they don't test it for stuff like phentamine and other banned substances, huh? Listen to this guy. Get him out of here. Supreme Beast Boxing Talk is out there. He says, salute Grandmaster Sensei. Salute to you, Supreme Beast. Good to see you, bro. Eric R. says, Sean Porter wants to be Macho Man Randy Savage so bad. Yo, Eric is laughing. And so is Jose Diaz saying, fact. Mike 202 says, salute King Supreme Beast. Yes, sir. DMV soldier. Man, let me tell you. This fight between Sean Porter and Bud Crawford will be exciting because both men deal with contact. But it's like having a, let's see, what's the analogy that I can, Sean Porter might be a F-150, huh? And Bud Crawford is a Range Rover. You know what I'm saying? It's just a difference in class, man. As simple as that. Mark Stern says, Bud has proved nothing at welterweight. He has everything to prove in this division, not Porter. Listen, Mark, and I know you're an OG as well, but it's like you have to simplify it, man. Class tells all. Bud Crawford has been class in every division that he's been in. It's not his fault that genetically he had to grow up to the welterweight division. Half these other guys have been born of the welterweights, and some of them still haven't maximized, huh? But I'll tell you this, when they get in there with that young man who is a five-dimensional fighter, they will find very quickly, the difference in the levels, huh? Sean Porter has been a tough and rugged guy at welterweight, but he has lost to other guys who are not even as good as Bud, okay? And Bud would murder those guys. But at the same time, it's a fight that you all have been begging for because you really feel that he's going to be tested. The only fighter that was going to test him out there was going to be Earl Spence Jr. That's it. And the reason that they would be tested with one another is because they have the same championship caliber of spirit and approach to the fight game. So when you get that and you got two highly skilled guys at the top of the division like that, it's going to be a chess match between those two men. Huh? I'll tell you guys a recap. In that 11th round, when Earl dropped Sean with that blow to the chin where his glove grazed the canvas and everything, had that been Crawford, Sean would have been knocked out because Bud is a much sharper puncher than Earl. Now, when you talk about the power is different when you talk about sharpness over blunt force. Earl hit him with blunt force shot, strong shot, had him on Queer Street for a second. But that guy with that sharp punch, when you don't see it, it's the one that gets you up out of there. Single punch KO. Just like what happened to Kell Brook. He didn't see Bud's right hook off of his jab, and it caught him blind, and he ran into that shot. Next thing you know, he was running into Tony Weeks, asking him what's happening and where am I? You understand? That's how that works. Let's see who we got. Jose Diaz says facts. And Curtis Price says, Stormy B-Man, Shane Porter needs to fight smart and stop and jump in and out because Bud will time him. Yep. Eric R says, Canelo, you're not on my level. Canelo's level. There you go, Eric R. There you go. Jose Diaz says, Can I girl his own? Can I? What's that? Come on, man. Don't start writing like that in the chat. I told you guys, when you don't write in complete full sentences and everything, you make Stormy B-Man start having a brain aneurysm trying to read that stuff, man. I can't read that mess, man. You write in there like where's something that I can understand, you know, comprehende. You know what I mean? That's, let's see who we got. I'm still trying to read that and I can't figure that one out. Anyway, so that's what's going to happen. Bud's going to smoke Sean. You guys are going to be mad. And then you're going to say it still wasn't Earl. Well, Earl had to be next then. That's all. That's all. It ain't no problem. Huh? Ain't no thing. You know, Bud ain't running from nobody. Bud is that little man that always had that little man complex. People pick on him and everything. And he want to fight the biggest guy in the room. He might get his head handed to him, but that's, hey, you always love a fighter with that type of fighting spirit, huh? And he has a lot of it, man. He has a lot of it, man. It's like you can't get around the fact that he's a class fighter, has tremendous abilities, can switch orthodox and southpaw, can be very defensively sound when he wants to be. And then, to top it all off, he's got killer in him. That dude will kill you in there if he can. He will. I like it. Supreme Beast says, proofreading is important. Tell him, Sensei. Yeah, man. Read that a couple of times out loud to yourself before you send. Huh? That way you don't have to have me sitting up here having conniptions and seizures and everything over my mic sounding like I'm illiterate. Huh? I ain't the one. Yeah, Mike 202 says, take your time. There you go. Take your time. You know, act like that fat boy on the last piece of cake, savoring it. And, you know, you just, you know, text that. Yeah, that's spelt right. What's that word? The. Okay, yeah, THE. Okay, yeah, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do, huh? Make sure you spell it right. And, you know, like I said, read it out loud to yourself in a sentence, you know, before you send it. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm the sensei. This is class, like Big Homie Coop says. And I'm supposed to embarrass you if you come in here with those F pluses, huh? Making me try to read that stuff, huh? Rasheed Rourke said, it's crazy that the fans think Earl and Bud are scared of each other. No, when you're as good as those two guys, you ain't got to be afraid of nobody. It's all the others in between that's afraid. That's the truth. And we're not talking about Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz because they're the come-ups, huh? That's the new wave, the new generation coming up. Let these old farts handle their business first because all of them are 30 plus. Let those guys take care of each other first. They are their own era, and they need to take care of each other out there so we'll know who was the best of that era. That's what's important, man. Very important. Thrill Hill says, Stormy, what would be the difference in a Crawford fight with Boots? See, there you go. Already, I didn't even get to finish saying the sentence out of my mouth, and you're talking about Crawford and Boots. But I'm going to tell you something, because you guys have put a wedge of difference between Earl and Crawford. The question should be asked, what would Earl do with Boots? Because you've just totally separated him from Bud without they fighting. So that means that you think that he's superior. So if he's superior, then let's talk about Jaron and Earl, huh? And I'm not saying that because I think that Jaron will beat Earl. I'm just saying, why do guys keep trying to throw another blockade in between Earl and Bud with these other names and faces? Why? Huh? Usyk moved up from cruiserweight to heavyweight, and he had his eyes set on the heavyweight championship, whoever it happened to be. The WBO mandated that he fight AJ, so he did, and he beat him. But his goal was to always go up there and fight the guy. Bud's goal, he won the WBO, he moved up to welterweight, and he wanted to fight the guys who had the belts at the welterweight, and they didn't fight him. So it's like, come on. So if Earl is the man, let's see Earl take on that young challenging dragon in Boots. Huh? Yeah. And Virgil. Huh? If he beats Boots, let's see him fight Virgil. Because that's the kind of fight that could, be a big fight. Huh? You had that fight in Texas, you really fill that stadium up. Virgil Ortiz and Earl Spence, it'll be bigger than Mikey and Earl. Huh? Jose says, I didn't write that. My chick, trust me, I don't hit her. Usually I get my ass whipped, but I don't go to jail. Okay, see, you're doing it again, though. Huh? No, don't be blaming it on somebody else, man. Huh? I am not versed in ebonics. No matter what you might think and how I might look, you're wrong. Okay? I got you, though, Jose. But read it out loud to yourself first. Then you send. Thrill Hill says, it can be either one. See, there you go. Huh? There you go. Huh? You didn't say, yeah, that'll be good. You just, it could be either one. No, you want it to be Bud and Boots. But I'm going to tell you something, and it'll hurt your feelings, okay? Bud and Boots, I picked Bud because he's got more experience, and he's got something in him. I told you guys this a moment ago. He got something in him that none of the other guys in the division have. I haven't seen it in him. I've seen it in Bud, but I ain't seen it in those guys, okay? And just because you have some talent, like Boots, that don't mean you gonna be the man. It don't. We've seen a lot of guys who had potential. Yeah. And didn't live up to it. It happens every day. Okay? And I want to see, okay, I see Daryl Alexander out there. I want to say salute to Daryl for that Cash App donation. He says, for a little something for the collection plate, family. Thank you, Daryl, and I appreciate your donation to the show and the channel, man. I was cooking so much I forgot to read your Cash App over the airwaves, but I appreciate that, and thank you for your support. Yes, sir. And see, it says we got all these people in here, and you guys are hitting the like button and everything. But I appreciate people that show up like that, Daryl. And I just read it off. I see you, bro. Eric R. says Boots needs to be in a couple of wars to get to that next level. He doesn't need to be in wars. He needs to be in fights where it will show you something else. He's been in there with a lot of subjects that are not really at his level. Okay? And the guys who have been champion at the top of the division, they have been at the level where he may be, but it'll take them fighting him to bring it out. Now, I want them to sort their stuff out first amongst themselves. I want to see Bud fight the likes of Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Earl Spence. I want to see Keith Thurman fight the likes of Earl Spence and Bud Crawford. Huh? I want to see those fights. I want to see Danny Garcia. Huh? In there. Maybe with Keith again or with Porter again. Those guys, they have styles that are offsetting and everything. They should be mixing it up. Then whoever turns out to be the cream of that crop, let the young guns come and face them after that. Huh? And the best way to get to that is to have an undisputed fight. That's the best way. So check the poll. Matter of fact, mentioning the poll, let me go back to it and see where we are. 39% says heavyweight. 39% says welterweight. 18% says middleweight. And 4% says light heavyweight. So you guys are pretty split on heavyweight and welterweight, looking at those two divisions for the next undisputed. Hey, I can't argue with that, because if I had even added lightweight to that, we're not going to see anytime soon the lightweights, because there's a couple of fighters there at lightweight that everybody's staying away from. And that's namely Shakur Stevenson, even though he's at featherweight, and my man, come on now, Devin Haney. So I've taken to drinking this sparkling mineral water. I like it. It's better than soda, especially if you add a little lemon to it. Yeah, so that's what's happening at this juncture with the poll. Welterweight has just edged out since I mentioned it. I guess people are changing their mind, going back and forth, which is okay. That's fine. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? But let's get down and talk about some boxing. And we got my man Boxing Conversation with Reggie Owens, who is finally coming to the building. What's good with you, Reggie? Happy Friday.
Yes, indeed. Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Yes, sir. So now that you're here with us, Reg, you got anything you want to add on? You talking about that poll. Did you get a chance to check the poll out?
No, I haven't got a chance to check it. I've been listening to you talk about it.
Yeah. Just asking the question, which division will be likely to have undisputed next? And the choices are heavyweight, light heavy, middleweight, and welterweight. Right now, it's kind of neck and neck with heavy and welter. So that's where people are setting their sights. Excuse me. And it looks like it could be either one. The one thing that I really like, Reggie, is the talk that Usyk is giving out. You know, the fact that he wants to, unify right away. At least that's the word. You know what I'm saying? He's not one of those guys that are, I got to see if I got mandatories and all of that stuff. But Usyk has been very consistent. And what I love about his consistency is this. When you're a successful fighter like he has been at every stage and level of the game, you don't have to have worry and trepidation, because you can be assured and confident in your own abilities. That's why I was so highly critical of AJ, who had accomplished nothing by fighting nobody. And the thing is, he spoke like a well-read man, but you saw what happened when he got in there with the guy last week. So, but what are your thoughts on Usyk deciding like, hey, he would rather go right into a unification match, taking on the winner of Wilder and Fury 3?
I like it. And I like how Usyk has solidified himself in boxing, man. He ain't in here to be a cash cow. He ain't in here for celebrity. He ain't in here for fame. His mission is to prove himself as one of the best, prove himself as one of the greatest. And especially being a smaller guy coming up into this heavyweight division, the whole quest is to prove himself. Same way you see with Michael Hunter, he wants to prove himself against larger guys. And I think that's the thing you get from people who will move up out of the cruiserweight coming into this heavyweight division, is that they have their challenge is proving themselves. And there's hard work. There's something to motivate them. Everything gets stacked against them. Ain't no time to play around. Ain't no time for the easy play arounds and none of that. So Usyk is a guy who thinks he can defeat all these guys. And if not, he still wants to see where he ranks and places himself in history. And he's achieved that by knocking off Anthony Joshua. I think unification in heavyweight is going to be delayed for a bit. Now you got AJ talking about fighting once again. So I think Undisputed is going to happen in the junior middleweight division. I think Brian Castano and Carlo will probably accomplish that before any other divisions. I don't see how people say welterweight. Ain't it 3 different champions in welterweight? So I don't know when you'll get that. But that's my views on that.
Yeah, and you know, just to kind of go back and revisit what transpired with Usyk and Joshua, man. I had said this, you know, going into that fight, Reggie. I had said that, you know, I had picked Usyk to win that fight, but that was not an upset. That was not an upset. And just as I spoke about Sean Porter, Bud Crawford over Sean Porter a moment ago, and I talked about class tells, that's what I based my looking at those two men on. The fact that class tells. Usyk was head and shoulders above Joshua in the quality of opposition that he faced, and also how he executed the success in his career. Even his fight against Tony Bellew. Some people feel like, you know, Tony Bellew was giving him a real rough go of it and everything. But Tony Bellew, on that night of the Joshua fight, spoke. He was sitting there with Roy Jones Jr., and he spoke about how Usyk, even though he thought he might have been winning the fight or whatever, he said that Usyk put so much mental pressure on him, he broke him. And then he knocked him out. So this is Tony Bellew's own admittance. So when I hear that, and Bellew was a quality fighter. He beat David Haye, and he had won a championship at his weight class. And he was a guy who was rugged and determined. He wasn't the most beautiful of boxers or anything like that, but he was, for this day and era, championship caliber quality fighter. And for Usyk to do what he did to him, and for him to speak on it the way he did, there's a lot of respect there. This is why I laugh with Joshua talking about, I know what I did wrong and everything, and when we have the next fight, you know, I'll correct everything, and, you know, I'll get the belts back. I'm like, you fool. Do you think that Usyk is just going to come in there and allow you to beat him up and take the titles back? No. When they fought, I felt like this, Reggie. I felt like had AJ made some adjustments to get himself into the fight more and more consistent, I feel like Usyk would have made adjustments to his adjustments. But he didn't have to, because everything he was doing was working very well. Now, the one thing that I did notice is that Usyk's face didn't hold up. Okay? He was getting busted up in the face. Some guys just cut easy and everything. And I think against his fight against Bellew, he was a little scraped up too. So that's something that, again, maybe that upper body movement and the head movement he was doing and how he was working, he's understanding that he's a bleeder. He's a cutter. But it's like he can still fight his way through those things. And he can hire the best of a cut man to, now that he's a unified champion, that would not be a bad investment for him to have in his corner, because cut men can save your career and save you in a fight sometimes. So that's something for him to consider. But I do believe class tells, and he is definitely a cut above AJ. He would give Fury and Wilder some looks. I'm not saying he'll beat them, but it would not be a walk in the park for either guy. The advantages that they would have are their heights and reach. But neither one of them is a better boxer than this guy. You know what I mean? People often say if Tyson Fury wasn't as tall as he is, he'd been knocked out many times. And I believe that. When you got guys like Cunningham and that guy Padgett that knocked him down in the second round of their fight, it's like Tyson Fury is a very vulnerable guy himself, but his size, height, reach, those are advantages that are just kind of in this day and age, you know, he stands out. But did you have anything else on that, Reggie?
No, that was all I had on that one.
Yeah.
I just don't know why AJ. Well, I know why AJ's taking that rematch. He's being forced into it.
Yeah, Eddie Hearn.
The same result. Yeah.
Eddie Hearn. Did you see those video clips of them showing Eddie Hearn leaving the ring when they were going back to the dressing room and there was somebody shouting something at Eddie Hearn and he turned around? He was mad. He was saying something to the guy. I couldn't understand what he was saying because of the crowd noise, but he was like telling the guy to piss off or something. But hey, I bet when he got in behind closed doors where there wasn't no cameras and mics, boy, he probably told AJ, "You're going to get your butt back in there in 6 months and you're going to get them belts back."
Yeah, he laid into AJ after that.
It's over for AJ, bro. It's over. I don't care. No matter. He'll come back and he can win some fights, but he shouldn't have never said what he said about Wilder not being elite, man. Because ever since he uttered those words, he's lost like 2 times. And, you know, it's like it's proven that he's the one that's not elite. You know, it's kind of like when you were having that conversation with Mauricio Suleiman, you know, he's like, "You're the racist." He's like, "You're the one that's not elite," you know, because that's the way I feel about AJ. But, yeah, we can move on to something else. Salute to Tay Brown out there. I see you, sister. She's out there in the chat. Eric R. says, Boots versus a Thurman, Porter, or Danny Garcia will get him ready for Bud and Spence. I don't know if it'll get him ready for them, but it'll be good fights for him to have. Those guys would just want to be paid to fight him, though. You can't just throw them, you know, some light money. They'll want to get paid and compensated well for fighting him. Danny Garcia would be in trouble because he doesn't have the footwork to keep up with Boots Ennis. But Thurman, who can move laterally very well and everything, and has a heavy punch, would be a different sort. And then also, who was the other guy he said? Sean Porter. Sean Porter's a tough out, but I think Boots could get him as well. What are your thoughts on that, Reggie, with those proposed fights by Eric R. for Boots Ennis?
The Sean Porter, let me go back into which one? What was the fights again? Sean Porter.
He said Boots versus a Thurman, Porter, or Danny Garcia will get him ready for Bud and Spence.
I don't know why people be counting Sean Porter out, man. I think Keith Thurman would definitely both. Yeah, I can agree with that. Those would be tough fights for both of them. I think he'll run into the most problems against Sean Porter, man. I think Sean Porter's up there with the top guys, even with his 2 losses. 2 losses were very tight decisions to me. They're very close fights. It's just based on judges scoring on the fight. I think Sean will really, really test to see where Boots is. Well, I think Boots and Keith Thurman. I don't know where Keith Thurman is at this point. Not sure if he's that dedicated and locked into the sport like he once was. See him fluctuating way up in weight. Danny Garcia, the same thing. I know he's struggling to make it into the division. I think Sean would be the toughest match, in my opinion, for Boots. And I look at Sean as being in the top 3 in that division, top 4.
Yeah, but you know what? This is the thing about Sean, and I look at it different between Boots against Sean and Bud against Sean, because there are things that we don't know yet about Boots. Sean Porter is the type of fighter that he could put pressure on a guy that if he's not mentally strong, he's going to have trouble. And that's the difference. See, Bud is not a mentally deficient guy. He's not in no way, shape, form, fashion whatsoever. But Boots, the jury is out. Now, yes, he's been a lifelong boxer. His father brought him up and this and that. But we don't know until he is put in that position. Then he has to pass that litmus test. You know, I want people to understand the difference between criticizing and critiquing, because critiquing means that you're assessing the evidence of what's on the table and the hypothesis of what's unproven yet. Critiquing is that. Criticizing is just taking the credit away from someone for their accomplishments, this, that, and the third. That is not what I'm doing here. You understand? So, yeah, the more that Boots shows us in different types of fights against different fighters and styles, the more we can assess where his talent is. Remember, the first time I saw him, I said, oh, this kid has Roy Jones-like talent. But that was not to mean like he's the next Roy Jones. It's just that I could see that he's capable of doing some things athletically that look pretty impressive. But how is his boxing skill? What will it be like if he gets hit back on the chin? What will it be like if he gets in a dogfight, if he gets in a cut, if he gets knocked down? We don't know those things yet. They may never happen. And so he goes on and be a guy that never had to face those things. But those you always have to leave room for something like that. Remember, we thought Keith Thurman was everything in a bag of chips till he took that body shot, huh? And then everybody was like, oh, Superman's got kryptonite. You understand? And it was from that point on, it was like people became highly critical. There's that word, critical, of Thurman. Because he got hit in the ribs, and it was like he was running around the ring trying to get his gas and then win back. You know, so these are the things that when you put guys in, those are the type of answers that you're looking for. No, I don't want to see him get knocked out. I want to see him challenged. So that's what I look toward with that.
Yeah, the challenges are good in the sport. You got to be challenged to know where you at. Otherwise, you can become crippled inside the sport. So challenges are necessary, and fighters have to be challenged, or else they end up looking like an AJ, because he never challenged himself. He went in there and he looked foolish as a champion.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about AJ is this, and I said this, Reggie, I said it in our post-fight show after the fight and everything, and I said it in a video that I did. If AJ had just went ahead and fought Luis King Kong Ortiz, that was a winnable fight for him. Because remember, he was riding the wave of success that he had against Klitschko, and he had done some things against big guys like Brazil. So it's like, and he's bigger than Ortiz. So the only thing he was going to have to be concerned about is Ortiz's boxing skills and the southpaw position. Because he has the type of strength and power, if he nails Ortiz, he can get him in trouble. But if he gets nailed himself, we now know that he could be in trouble. But understand that that's now. We didn't have that data on AJ back then. We didn't. And had he just fought the guy, what could have happened is, say he was victorious against Ortiz. That gives you courage. That gives you inspiration. That gives you motivation. Like, oh, I came up a level. You understand? And then maybe a fight against a guy like Usyk wouldn't have turned out like it turned out. But see, instead of facing demons and dragons, AJ looked for the back door. Or at least Matchroom and Hearn did. They didn't want him in there tough with guys. But you cannot, especially in the heavyweight division, you cannot just keep avoiding potholes and manhole covers and, you know, bumps in the road and glass and broken sticks and stuff in the road. You can't keep, you ever been driving, Reggie, behind somebody and everything in the road, they swerving around it. They swerve. And it's like, don't that kind of like get to you? Because you don't have to do all that swerving. There are ways that you can still avoid, and you ain't got to be almost going into the other traffic's lane and stuff like that. That's a pet peeve of mine. I don't know about you, but it's like, that drives me crazy. But that's kind of been how they've handled AJ's career. They've had him avoiding. And he's lucky he never did face Big Baby Miller, because I think that Big Baby Miller was going to be the guy to do it to him. But it just ended up being Andy Ruiz Jr. You there?
Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't have anything else to add to that.
Oh, okay. That dead air be killing me, man. I don't know if he had fall off or what, but
I was ready for you to go to the next topic.
Okay. Yeah. Well, as we talked about a few weeks ago, we had the fight that took place between Manny Pacquiao and Yordenis Ugas. It was announced this week, Reggie, that Manny has retired finally. So he's going to go ahead and pursue politics over in the Philippines. What are your thoughts on Manny finally hanging him up?
I was happy, man. He decided to make that announcement. I was real happy about that. I didn't want to see him coming back into the sport, especially at that age, and especially how his last performance looked. It looked like age caught up to him. It's time for him to accept it. And I think that's the issue with a lot of people at times, is that they can't accept the fact that they have come to that point in life to where age is a factor, and competing with much younger warriors inside this game is just not meant to be. And he got other things going on. I think his people needs him more than the sport of boxing does at this time. And that's to represent his people as potentially their next president. And that'll be some historic stuff. Those people have rode tough with Pacquiao, and hopefully they deliver to him at the election polls. And farewell to him. And now he can set his sights on becoming a Hall of Famer and become an advocate in the sport over in the Philippines, which he's already is. Continue to grow up his promotional company, and also be there for Filipino fighters. Represent them properly if he does go into promotion. Don't become a representation on the promotional side that we see from a lot of these fighters that go into the game and don't present anything as far as how they represent fighters. These fighters run into the same situations that they've been running to, and that fighters for the last century been running to when dealing with janky promoters within the sport and exploiting these guys. But I was happy to hear that announcement. I didn't want to see him rematching you guys, because in a rematch, it's possible he could have became seriously hurt going in there against you guys. A lot of people overlook you guys, but he's a strong and he's a dangerous fighter for Manny Pacquiao at this point in his career. That's all I got on that.
Yeah, I think that it's nice for him to move on to the next stage of his life and the change in his career. But what I would like to see him do is, since he's been such a top rated and classed guy in the sport, bring some American trainers over there so that they can increase the quality of boxing from the fighters out of the Philippines. That young man that fought on a card a few weeks ago that we saw, I can't think of his name right now, and I know when we finish the show it's going to come to me, but the guy who had got knocked down and then he got up and he finished the guy off. He got knocked down from that body shot because the opponent kept turning up the heat on him with those body punches, and it dropped him. Then he came back and knocked the guy out. He looked like he could be the next Manny in the wings. And he's a very strong young kid, but he needs to work on his boxing skills. And that's what a lot of people, it's like, man, being a heavy puncher, that's great. That's being able to punch somebody and separate them from their senses. That's a wonderful thing. But man, if you've got no boxing behind that, when you get to the top level and class of the sport, the guys are not going to let you hit them with that crap. It's like they know what to do and they know how to get out of the way of it. So you could run into some trouble. You understand? So you have to have boxing as a foundation. Boxing as a foundation that will carry you through and everything. Because when you're tired, you could box. When you're fresh, you could box. When you're being offensive, you could box. When you're being defensive, you can box. But if all you are is a puncher, all they got to do is wait till you get tired. And it's over. It's over. So, yeah. A lot of people out there discussing different things in the chat. But, yeah, those are my thoughts about Manny, Reggie. And I would like to, say salute to Manny for thrilling fights over the years and being a guy who, I don't know, it's just, I think him being a little dude and going in there and beating up on bigger guys and stuff like that. I'm not going to talk about whether or not it was all on the level or whatever. He had success, and we know the success that he's had. And hey, sometimes people get behind people like that. That's, a little guy that can show himself against the bigger dudes and stuff like that. So that's like Usyk. He's getting that same type of consideration. He beat up the giant, right? So, and people like that. People like what they think are upsets. I don't know anybody that's currently fighting that has had rematches like Manny. Manny fought Juan Manuel Marquez, Marco Antonio Barrera, what's his name, Eric Morales. He was fighting these guys 2-3 times. You know what I mean? It's like that's championship stuff right there, especially in an age with multiple title belts. And to see those men go in there several times against one another, doing it, sometimes it's not even about the championship anymore. It's just about testing your wares against another person that thinks they're better than you. So a lot of people can take some footnotes from Manny Pacquiao and what he accomplished in his career.
Most definitely. So
yeah, man. Did you have something that you wanted to touch on? Remember last week I was saying, like, if you have something, and we can bring it out for discussion. That way I don't forget to allow you to, have stake in what we're talking about.
No. I'll just roll with the regular topics because remember, I follow a lot of the regular politics and news more than I have with boxing, so I don't really have too many topics to bring up.
Okay. There is. I'm trying to see. I had put. A fight tomorrow, Reggie. Chris Eubank Jr. is back. He's going to be taking on that guy, Anatoly Muratov. And, apparently Roy Jones is still with him. I thought Roy wasn't with him anymore. Somebody had said when they was in the gym with him, I don't know if that was Trick Nolte but apparently Roy is still with Eubank Jr. and he'll be in his corner for his fight tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see Eubank's performance because now with more than one camp under Jones, we can see what he has to offer, what he's picking up, and are there any particularities that will separate from what he was doing before he got with Roy. What are your thoughts? And salute to TS Boxing out there. I see you, Tyrone. Good to see you in the chat, bro. What do you got on that, Reggie?
Yeah, well, I didn't know he was fighting tomorrow, but I want to see what Roy brings out of him. I'm trying to picture his last fight that I saw. I think he did get away from that one speed style fighting where he just punched in high volume. He didn't have variations to anything in the past, and he lacks a little bit on head movement. I think he just fought at one gear as far as how he fought. Is just rush, go out there, fight with high velocity throughout the fight. And I think I'm trying to picture the last fight. I think he did implement a little bit of boxing. He was able to change the gears as far as the pace that he pushed in fights. he find his moments to throw combinations. Because back then, all he did was throw combinations. It was never really seen too much of the jab. I think Roy had him working the jab, moving around, turning his fighter around. So hopefully Roy brings that out of him. And he continues to fight with that patience and just wait till he finds his openings to go in there and let off the quick bursts. Because matter of fact, I think he did have that opponent hurt a couple of times. I know he hurt the opponent once and rushed in after him, realized he wasn't getting the opponent out, and went back to boxing, if I remember that correctly. And I think, was Roy training him then? I'm not sure, but I think Roy, I would love to see what the trainer Roy does get back to the sport of boxing, but see what Eubanks wants. Eubanks wants it all inside this inside the sport. He wants his other opportunities. He's come up to positions of putting himself in line to becoming a champion, to becoming a big name, and he's come up a little bit short. But I think with breaking away from his father, getting some new training, that possibility is there. Because the one thing that was always missing was him adding different ripples to his game. Everything was just so easy to predict because he fought in that one style. But that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and I had a conversation behind the scenes with someone recently, and we were discussing Eubank Jr., and they were explaining to me he was pretty much self-taught. So if that, be, factual information there, it explains why he looks so bad, with his style and everything. So, and it's surprising as well, because you would think that his dad would guide him into the hands of more capable trainers or something like that. But maybe his dad either didn't have that type of rapport with the son, he was rebellious or whatever. Who knows? How it happened behind the scenes. But the fact that he has retained Roy, what that tells me is that he respects the pedigree of Roy being a person who has done it, and knowing possibly that his dad never wanted to get in there with Roy. That might be something, behind the scenes, that it's like, okay, my dad didn't even want no parts of this guy, so maybe I'll just see what I can learn from him and everything. So if that be the tipping of the iceberg, yeah, it makes sense that he tried to get quality representation, but there is a long history of guys who've been great themselves, not necessarily coming back being a great coach and trainer. So if Roy is able to do that, to transition from being a Hall of Fame fighter to a darn good coach, that's an extra feather in the cap for him. You know what I mean? So that'll be interesting. But I want to see what he looks like. I guess the fight will be broadcast on Sky Sports. I don't have a time on it yet, Reggie. I was going to look for that after the show, but I know they had their weigh-in today, and it's looking like it's on. Muratov, I don't know a lot about him, but I've heard of him, but we'll see. My consensus going in is this is supposed to be a showcase for Eubank Jr. It's not supposed to be the Muratov show. So, and I think he's taking this on a shorter notice as well. I don't know how long a notice, but I don't think he was the original opponent.
Hopefully he comes in there and he fights hard like he ain't an underdog. That's all I hope. I hope he challenges, getting in there to be some guy to be styled on, and he comes to rain on the parade of Eubanks and whoever's putting on this promotion, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. And salute to TS Box, and Tyrone is out there. He says, Mark Maxeo. Yeah, that was the kid's name. Thanks for that, Tyrone. I appreciate that. That's the Filipino kid that I was trying to think of that fought about a month ago or so, a little over a month ago. And he's from the Philippines, looking to excuse me, looking to fill that exciting void that Manny Pacquiao left behind, leaves behind, because he's an exciting fighter. He's definitely a puncher, and the sport can use guys who are going to be thrilling in there and fight with some excitement. So, Mark Maxeo. I wonder, is Freddie Roach going to be working with him, or is it going to be the guy that worked with Freddie in the gym, the little Filipino guy who's training guys as well? I can't think of his name at the moment. Forgive me. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I just don't remember his name. Not Boo Boy. Boo Boy is the kind of heavyset guy that's always holding the body shield and the mitts for Manny, but there's another guy. Tyrone also says, Eubank and his dad trained under Ronnie Davies, and he said they do their own thing, and he's just the guide. I think Davies is like an assistant with them still. Okay. Yeah. So my man Watcher, he knows a lot about those guys over there too, because he keeps his eyes and ears peeled out for information over there. Another news report, Reggie, that came down the pike was Teofimo Lopez and this guy, George Kambosos, man, their fight is off again, and they're taking it off of that day because I guess it was like Monday Night Football or something like that. I don't know. What's really going on with Teofimo, Reggie? I mean, this guy, it's been over a year now, right, since he defeated Lomachenko, and he hasn't fought yet?
Thing when he came up with that COVID thing and them making the scheduling, man, it's going to be difficult, man. That's the hard thing when people do things that throw off the scheduling. And for promoters, you always hear Dana White speak of it because very vocal about what it takes to go into the planning for events, what happens when fighters do things and you have to cancel out and reschedule things. And I think with what's that, Triller, them not really putting that in mind when they went to go try to reschedule this fight following Teofimo's COVID case or whatever it is, and putting on the event, they didn't even think about the Monday Night Football situation and how it will ruin ticket sales, especially for a boxing event. And I mean, they're going to have to move it back because when they look in, it's supposed to be, wait, when is their fight? It's supposed to be this coming week. Oh man. So, yeah. I mean, it's something they got to do, and they probably going to have to, like they want to do, a week after the Wilder event. And Theo threw everything off. It's really all on Theo for not adhering to the disciplines of needing the social distance, keeping the team tight, ensuring people aren't out in social settings where they passing and spreading this stuff. So it was all on him, and it's messing up everything as far as the reschedule and us getting that fight. But I think all that's going to do is motivate the hell out of Kambosos, and things may not turn out how Teofimo think they are. I think Teofimo and them have allowed that belt becoming a champion get too far to his head. And he's going in here against somebody you're just motivating this guy to really want to go in here and challenge him. I don't know too much about Kambosos, but I don't look at Teofimo being that much better than him. I think with the things that Teofimo has brought out of this guy, as far as the hate being there, he doesn't look at Teofimo as far as what Teofimo want to be. Let me go hush this dog up. All right.
Yeah, tame that Doberman, bro. I think that Teo, the whole thing was when he defeated Lomachenko, one of the first things he was saying was that he was announcing that he was undisputed and this and that. He went on a celebrity, what do they call it? When you hit a home run in baseball and you go to the dugout and then they call you back out and you tip your hat to the crowd. That's Teo, after he won the fight. But trying to fight on pay-per-view, trying to, break his contract with Bob Arum and everything. And Arum said he was going to get him, So, listen, Arum is mobbed up, okay? So, Teo ain't going nowhere. And he wasn't pay-per-view before, okay? He ain't going to be pay-per-view after because this whole thing, man, it smacks of Aram shenanigans in the backdrop. You know, you could look at Triller, you could look at T.O., you could look at George, you could look at all this other stuff. But I'm going to tell you, man, you know, Bob has put his toe in the door, and it ain't closing, okay? So that's one way to look at it. And, yeah, Rashid Ruck, thank you. Curtain call. Yeah, I couldn't think of it, you know. Listen. Teofimo need to go back to the graces of Bob and say, hey, Bob, just can we work something out? Can we just, you know, get me back active? Because remember, he was fighting quite frequently. He ain't fought now. He had fought 3 times by now. Typically. But and there's something else about him. All these gym stories about T.O. being stopped in the gym, dropped in the gym, beat up in the gym, all of that stuff, that doesn't bode well. I don't know where all of these stories from the gym are starting to come out. It used to be like what happened in the gym stayed in the gym, man. Non-disclosure agreements have been signed or whatever. But these guys today, and I think that's just all a part of social media, man. It's like they can't wait to tell something. Oh, he got a black eye. Oh, so-and-so bust his nose. Or this or that, you know, it's like it's almost comical that they're doing this. But at the end of the day, he's hurting his own brand, really, because he's inactive. And there are other guys that are steady getting better because they stay active, and they'll be ready to take it from him. Sooner or later, those mandatories are going to kick in. Are you back, Reg?
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah. So,
but yeah,
huh?
No, I'm about to say what you're saying about T.O. and people leaking the footage. I think a lot of it has to do in part with the way in which his father behaves inside the gym, the type of talk he does inside the gym, the boasting, the bragging, and it leads to people to where they're like, okay, you talking this? Well, here's the footage. So, in the maintaining of that. You know, unwritten rule in boxing, that discipline in boxing about things not leaking outside of sparring, to where all things are off the table when dealing with this guy. His father comes off very ignorant, but he's kind of, you know, he's street raised, rough around the edges, in a place to where people don't like dealing with them, and even dealing with them from a business level. They come in here, they did the right thing, being able to negotiate the deal to get the money for themselves. But then they come with no follow-up plan behind that. They don't think about what's the next move moving forward. It's a thing of greed. And at some point, you begin to burn bridges. You suffer a defeat, the doors are going to close on these guys. So they're not doing business right, treating the sport of boxing right. There's no way he should have been out of here. You hear before of him speaking about, what's he talking about, retirement? I know he's talking about something dealing with the personal issues in life. So I mean, there's a lot of instabilities within them because it's a lot of chaos surrounding them, and it could either make or it could break them. So, but we'll see. But I think Kambosos ain't coming in here to play. And I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls an upset on Teofimo. Would not be surprised.
Well, that's the thing. And if they do ever happen to get this fight off the ground and it takes place, I think T.O. is in trouble simply because he got just too much going on, man. He got too much going on. The other guy, all he got to do is show up and fight. And the spotlight is always on T.O. And he did that himself. He did that to himself. You know, the whole thing, he could have fought this guy and Lomo in a rematch by now and be taking on a third opponent. But no, he's out there messing around and everything. And if they had just been honest about the ticket sales from that original postponement, I mean, come on, man. Saying he had COVID, but he's over in Italy, you know, on holiday. I mean, that was a bad look, Reggie. That was a very bad look, because now it makes it look like, even if it's not true, that a lot of guys are using, you know, the seed thing as an excuse for a match not to happen, or even promoters or managers are using it. And we didn't want that. There have been so many people who have suffered in the world because of this thing, and now you want to go there and do that just because the fight hasn't sold the tickets that you wanted to sell and stuff like that. First and foremost, fights are not going to sell tickets like they would like them to until these people start making the fights that people want to see. That's what it's got to come down to, man. People don't want to just see these guys in against, bowling pins. Really? And over and over and over again. We need some challenges, man, from some real challengers. Salute to Gregory X out there. I see you, Gregory. It's good to see you, man. How was West Africa? Or are you still over there? Man, that brother said he was over there in West Africa during one of our shows a couple weeks ago, Reggie.
Oh, yeah, he been there for a minute. You talking about Gregory X?
Yeah.
Yeah, he been in Africa for a minute.
Yeah. So, man, that's what's up. Rashid says, right, Stormy, there's a bunch of chatty Charles letting out what happens in sparring. Yeah, man. It's like, sparring is sparring. That's where you're supposed to do some learning on there. You're not in there to beat each other up, even though a lot of these guys think that that's what that's all about. But that's not. You know what I mean? And if you can fight, you know how to take care of yourself. So that getting beat up in the gym is not something supposed to be happening if you know how to do what you're doing in there. You know what I mean? So it's like, really, what's going on, man? But I don't know, Reggie. Triller may have just bitten off more than they can chew. You already heard Mike Tyson say he ain't fooling with them no more. So, and that was the name they kicked off with. So once Mike pulled out, it's pretty much a done daughter, really. So I don't know. Any final thoughts on that?
Yeah, with T.O. or with Triller, I think Triller finds success. They're going to have success with the side of things they do on music. I think it's a diversified enough company. They don't have to rely on boxing. But it's always good if you can get a big enough boxing event and also mesh it with the sport of boxing, because there's so many parallels between the two. But T.O. really has messed it up for himself. I don't think he too much messed it up for the company. He set himself back a lot. He's not doing right by the sport, and sometimes the sport of boxing will correct those actions of people who don't do things right. The same way with any job. Treat the job right, it'll treat you right. You go about cutting corners and pulling off halfway doings of completing of work, the job will fire you. And same thing with the sport of boxing. People don't live righteous as fighters. The game of boxing will fire you. Whether it's things that happen, and usually those are the things that happen outside the ring. And you try to come in the ring halfway with it, sport of boxing will fire you. But that's my thoughts on it. Yeah,
man. It's going to be something, ain't it? It's going to be something. Well, let's get down to something that I had saved. And after I put this together, I still got the brothers' names. I put them down as the same, but it's like I'll explain it as we go through. But we're bringing back what is known as Stormy B Man's Thunderous Top 10, man. Got a new list because, hey, man, the performance by Alexander Usyk pushed him right into Stormy B Man's Thunderous Top 10, Reggie. And I would like us to talk about this list a little bit. And I know that you had some reservations about how some of the arrangements were in the past. But just as a quick note, I want to say, if you look at the list, we got Jermell Charlo at both 5 and 7. It's supposed to be Jermell at 5 and Jamal at 7. So, and I didn't get a chance to change that before tonight's show. So pardon me on that. But starting from the bottom, going to the top, Reggie, would you like to take us through this list and let us know your thoughts about it and everything? And we can just have a conversation on how the Thunderous Top 10. And understand, the Thunderous Top 10 on Stormybman's channel is not a pound for pound list as much as it is a impact list. Those who have great impact on the sport. So that's why it could change from week to week or fight to fight. If something spectacular happens, a fighter can position himself to be taken note of. So go ahead, Reggie. What are your thoughts, man?
Oh, yeah. So starting from the bottom with Usyk, I will have to definitely have him above Shakur. I'm sorry. Out of the names on the list, I would not have Shakur up on here. I think Devin Haney can probably go on here above Shakur. I think Usyk could probably be above Castano in my opinion. But not to take away anything from Castano. Seeing Castano just coming on the scene, not give up, but to go in there and put on a brilliant display in there against one of the top-rated boxers in the sport, and Jermell, and to make that a very, very competitive, tough fight for an undisputed fight. That was very tough. Shakur, I just haven't seen enough from Shakur. I just can't find any impacts from Shakur to put him on here above some other guys. I think Devin's impact can be greater than his. I don't know where to put Shakur on the list. I'll definitely have Usyk up at 8. Castano probably down to 9. Who is that? Jermell? Or is that 7 supposed to be Jamal?
Yeah, at 7 it's supposed to be Jamal, but I misspelled the name. I put them both as Jamel, but 7 is supposed to be Jamal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I can rock with Jamal being there. Who else we got? Bud and Tank. Oh man, Bud and Tank, man. But Bud has been inactive. I may have to rock with that. But over Tank ain't really been giving us what we want. I know he moved up to 140. Did that against.
Yeah. Let me explain this about Tank though. Because Bud has been inactive. The thing about Tank is he had great performances. Never mind the fact that we know that he was fighting guys that had limitations and everything, but don't Canelo fight guys like that all the damn time? Listen, the thing about Tank was both of his last 2 fights, he ended the bouts in an exciting fashion that made people feel like, man, they can't wait to see Tank again, and that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do to get yourself on the Thunderous Top 10, which is why Castano is still on the list along with Mel, because those two, until they sort their business out, I think that they'll both remain on the list, but one of them, after they face each other again, will fall off the list, because it has to make room for someone else. Josh Taylor is a guy that, I'm telling you, that guy is a comer, man. He can fight, and people better take note of him. Stop looking at that skin color and start looking at what he does in the ring, the canvas that he paints in that ring. Go ahead, Reg.
Today, taking Bud. I guess I can keep Bud there. I would definitely have to put Jermell above Tank, though. I would definitely have to put Jermell above Tank. Josh Taylor, I can see based on his impact, I'll have to put Josh probably above Earl, man. Josh been doing his thing. I may have to put him up above Earl. Earl's coming back, looking for Earl to get these matchup against these 2 fighters with the belts. Not so much of their belts, but because of what they have done, who they have defeated, the positions they're in. Definitely have to see him versus what is that cat name? Dennis Ugas, and also seeing what he does against Bud, and Bud have to get in there as well. But Earl has held up his end of the bargain in this division, so I can see him there. But Josh Taylor's accomplishments have been great in what he's looking to do. He's looking to get up in there and challenge those who are at welterweight. So I definitely have to have him probably above Earl. I'll put him at 2. Wilder, I can't. I'm a Wilder fan, but I ain't about to put Wilder on there right now. Nah, I can't do it. So that 1 and 2 spot, it had to be between Earl and Josh Taylor. I wouldn't put Wilder on my list until after this upcoming fight. I understand who Wilder is, but I ain't with the favoritism stuff. So I wouldn't put him on the list. But that's my thoughts on there.
Yeah, Earl is on there, and he and Wilder to me are like 1 and 2 because of what they mean to the sport. Regardless of how the rest of the boxing world has treated Deontay Wilder, he came on like gangbusters with performance as well as signature expression of where his thoughts and everything are, in the ring, out of the ring. That's impactful. And you've got a lot of people hating that. Even black people of color hate that, just like they did when Ali was at his peak doing things. Now, someone might try to say, oh, there goes Stormy trying to compare Deontay Wilder to Ali. No, the circumstances are similar. When someone stands in strength, they always want that person brought down. They always want that person brought down. They don't think that you should be able to stand and be vociferous. They don't think that you should be confident. They don't think that you should be a person to lead in a position of strength. So they always do things to try to take that away from you, and thereby be the reason that I recognize this. It took a culmination of circumstances that transpired in that last fight that he had with Tyson Fury. No matter what anybody wants to say or think, there is evidence of things that were unsavory and unethical that took place from that fight. But the great thing is he gets the opportunity to come back. Now, if he's not successful, that's on him. But I'll still support what he means to the sport and what he has done. How can a guy that had a 5-year reign, 10 title defense, not get the respect of the American public? It's not like he went around, he was doing things to women, being rude or something, and forcing himself on. None of that stuff. He was always off the scene until it was time to box. And then you see someone like the guy he's getting ready to face being on drugs, doing so many unsavory things, unethical things that, from performance enhancing drugs to just chemical dependency, and boasting and bragging about it. And the people embrace it. I have never seen such ludicrous behavior. It's unconscionable to me. But at the end of the day, the reason that Errol Spence and Deontay Wilder at the top of that list is because of what they both mean to the sport, how they've performed in the sport, and how they represent themselves in the sport. The two of them have an integrity that a lot of the others just don't have or show, and that's to be respected. Errol Spence is not my favorite fighter. I don't have a favorite fighter in this era of boxing, but what I will do is I will respect the man for how he has stood in the game and performed, which is why he and Wilder are at that top right now. Now that can change with the fight that comes up with Wilder, and it could change with Earl in his next performance. But I think those two are kind of like locks for a while. Usyk made it through there because he can fight. He's got skill. And I put him at number 10. That doesn't mean he's beneath anyone else on there. Because of his accomplishments alone, he could be much higher. But he broke into that list simply for becoming the unified champion. Now, if I had a longer time to think about it, because he was undisputed at cruiserweight, he'd probably be somewhere up there right underneath Josh Taylor. If not where Josh Taylor is, and Josh Taylor underneath he, because Usyk is an accomplished fighter, probably the most accomplished fighter on the list outside of Bud Crawford and Jermell Charlo. So those two men undoubtedly deservingly to be there, and I can't wait to watch their next outings, because I do think that when you get that kind of light shined upon you, people gun for you a little more or whatever, and whatever talent you have, you get a chance to really showcase it that much more because of the challenge. Because there's someone is coming at you trying to take what you have put stock in. So it's a wonderful thing to be able to have such accomplished fighters. You've got in Earl Spence, you've got a unified champion. Josh Taylor, you got an undisputed champion. Jermell Charlo, you've got a unified champion. Bud Crawford is a fighter that is a multi-division champion. And Alexander Usyk is a multiple division champion, one undisputed and now one unified. I mean, I don't know, Reggie, if we've had a pound for pound list of fighters so accomplished in the last 20 years with those men named that I just read off: Spence, Taylor, Charlo, Usyk, and Crawford. What do you think about that?
Yeah, Stormy, give me 1 second. Let me, because my brother didn't call me from the penitentiary. Give me 1 second.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, so chat and viewers, what I'm saying is, when you look at Earl Spence, who's unified, Josh Taylor, who's undisputed, Jermell Charlo, who's unified, nearly undisputed, one belt to go, Bud Crawford, who's accomplished in multiple divisions and was undisputed at junior welter, and then Alexander Usyk. That's 5 of these in the Thunderous top 10 that, if you wanted to put them in a pound for pound dwelling, that is a bad ass lineup of 5 fighters, accomplished fighters, that we haven't seen in the sport in a minute. So boxing is not dead, people. What we need to see now is those guys defending now, because they are some real accomplished fighters in a sport where we're not getting the fights that we would like to see very much. But you look at what they've brought and it's like, wow, that is amazing. I really respect that. And you're talking about 5, okay? That's half of the top 10. But remember, this is the Thunderous top 10. But it's still amazing yet that the 5 of them are on this list together, and they should not be left off of anyone's pound for pound list. Those 5 men. Amazing stuff there. Salute to Knockout Boxing 86 TV. He says, salute Stormy B Man at KQKC brought me here. Hey man, welcome to the channel, bro. Got some good stuff out here, man, for you. And I've seen you out there before. I'm aware of you. And I've subscribed to your channel. And I saw you in KQKC with your collabs, man. Good stuff you got going on there. Appreciate you stopping by. Eric R says, now Josh Taylor is a fighter I'd love to see Haney move up and test himself against. Well, Eric, what I would like to see is the guy stop running from Devin Haney and face him where he is and where they were, because that's what's really happening. Why are people not fighting Devin Haney? Why has Devin Haney been blackballed in the sport? Is inexplicable. I don't know what they're trying to do, but they need to stop this foolishness immediately. Okay? They need to stop it. Same with Gary Russell Jr., who was also, both Haney and Russell were on this list. The best that they could do for one another's career is to fight one another. Make it a contract of 2-fight deal. Whoever wins gives the guy a rematch. And if the fights are good, they could fight a third bout. The reason I'm saying that is because no one else wants to face those men, and they are at a point in time where they could do more justice and greatness of facing one another than to sit pat and be waiting on someone to take a chance that may never come. Stop it. Stop the BS. Get your butts in the ring against each other. They made this Black Murderers Row 2021, so you might as well fight like they fought Black Murderers Row 1940, 1950. Mike 202 says, what about number 9 Stevenson? Well, the thing about Stevenson is this. Stevenson is there just like he's a prodigy. You know, he has some things that I think that Haney doesn't have. But he's getting the fights too. And Haney is not. So as long as he's getting the fights, and he's about to fight Jamel Herring. Hey man, Shakur defeats Jamel Herring. Listen, where are you going to talk about him? Where are you going to put? You got to put him out there because he will have beaten a veteran champion. Okay? And he's still young years old, you know? Roderick Freelo says they hating on Devin being independent like Mr. Ball. Listen, man. Devin will be smart to pack his bags and go start fighting around the world. Get your butt out there and fight around the world. Go over to Australia, go over to Ireland, go over to UK, go to Japan, fight some people somewhere else. So the people on the other side of the world know who you are too. And then they'll be clamoring like, hey, can we see this guy against so-and-so? The number 1 contender, the number 2 contender, the number 3 contender. Let's get it going. What's good, Reggie? I see you back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm back.
Yeah. So did you wanna pick up on what I was saying before you took your call?
Yeah. What was that question on that part?
I was saying, like, what do you think about? And I kind of elaborated while you were on your call. I said, you on this list, you have 5 men who are either multiple division champions and unified and undisputed. It's amazing. Earl Spence is unified. Josh Taylor is undisputed. Jamel Charlo is unified, nearly undisputed with 1 belt to go. Bud Crawford is a multi-division champion. And then Alexander Usyk is a multi-division champion, unified in one and undisputed in the other. Dude, that's 5 elite fighters right there. 5. That should be on anyone's pound for pound list. This is what I was saying while you were on your call. So I wanted to ask you, since I pointed that out about those talents, what are your thoughts on those men?
No, I think highly of all 3 of those men. I think they
5, bro.
They are. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I said 5, not 3.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. The 5 guys. Earl. You got Earl. Wait, who are the guys?
Earl, Josh Taylor, Jamel, Bud, and Alexander Usyk.
Oh yeah, these are premier guys in the sport.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And I said while you were on your call, I said the sport is not dead. When you got talent like that, all that these guys need to do now is go out and defend. Because, dude, that's half of a pound for pound list. And my list is not a pound for pound.
That's why I don't listen to people who complain about the sport all the time. I just can't. It's against my religion, man, my personalized religion, to listen to that, because like you stated, there's all these guys. Boxing is comprised of many talented guys out here, and just because they ain't the most popular, they ain't from your hometown and this and that doesn't take nothing away from them. And there's other guys coming up. There's always somebody coming up. That's why you can't sleep. You can't sleep on guys in this sport. This game ain't about a popularity game. It's about those who come to conquest, come to go about seeing what they can do against whoever's supposed to be the next greatest man out there. But like you said, and these are the guys looking to fight folks. And I don't take nothing away from them. When people turn them down and they take on whoever they take on, I accept it. I appreciate watching it. And I just can't knock the sport of boxing. And if it's nothing happening in this current age, I can listen and go back and rewatch fights that you guys bring up from the historic standpoint. But these dudes right here, all they got, like you said, all they got to do is defend titles, improve themselves. And I appreciate getting into the hoop blob about what boxing ain't this and boxing ain't that, because I'm always be entertained. I'm gonna sit down and watch some fights. But that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah. Some amazing stuff there. Just to point that out, those 5 men are 5 of the most accomplished guys in the sport today. Okay, Earl is unified. Charlo is unified. Crawford and Usyk are multiple division champions. Crawford was undisputed at 140. Usyk was undisputed at cruiser. And they both have become champion at a higher weight, but Usyk is a unified champion at a higher weight. And then lastly, you're talking about the last person that I mentioned. Who did I say? I said it was 5. Yeah, that's Josh Taylor. Yeah, so it's like those are 5 dynamite fighters, Reggie, and I would start my pound for pound list off with those guys easily. You know what I mean? But like I said, the Thunderous Top 10 is not a pound for pound, but it's the impactful guys in the sport. And when you look from 1 through 10 here, it's like it's amazing that the sport of boxing is what it is. Now, I understood what you said about Devin Haney, and Devin Haney was on there before Usyk popped in. Now, Shakur Stevenson's got that fight coming up with Jamel Herring. I was also stating this while you were away. I said that if Shakur is able to defeat Herring, he belongs. So he may be there premature, but once that fight takes place, because Jamel Herring is a good fighter, you know, but it's listen, man, boxing is in good hands. It really is. We just need to see the fights. That's all. We need to see the fights.
That's it.
You know? So, yeah, absolutely. This is some great stuff, man. But, yeah, tell the people, Reggie, where they can find you, man. This has been another show. I got a video on Tyson Fury premiering in about 15 minutes. So anybody that want to stick around the channel and catch that video that'll premiere in about 15 minutes, you can do so. But go ahead and let people know where they can find you. Are you going to call those fights for Eubank?
No, heck no. I'm saving myself for for Wilder and Fury.
You want to save your voice and everything?
Heck yeah, man. Oh, man, I can't believe it's here this dang fast.
I know, man. I know. This is going to be a big week, Reggie. Tay Jones did a stream last night. Salute to Tay Jones. The brother's out there working, professional fighter, covering the camp, keeping us updated on things. And then he did a stream, say they finally wrapped up camp. So this week is all rest until next Saturday, bro. So, you know, this coming week, I should say. So it's exciting. Dude, I think this is going to be a big pay-per-view sale too, Reggie. It's going to be big because those people who couldn't make the fight, you know, after they canceled it in July, they'll be forced to watch it on pay-per-view and everything. But I think it didn't do nothing but heighten the people's passion. Whether you for or against either guy, it's like, it's going to be big, man. This is gonna be big. I think this is gonna be like Holmes and Cooney all over again. As far as the the build up and everything, I think that's what it's gonna be.
Yes, sir. But yeah, man, you guys can find me over on Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens. Both. Dang. Oh wait. Yeah, my main and backup channel. I'm about to say I got a suspension on my backup, but I should be good for the fight. But on both channels, catch me on both channels. We'll be calling the fight live from both channels. So catch you guys on the next one, man. It's man, sorry for interrupting, but my brother called. I haven't heard from him in a minute, so.
Oh no, it's no problem, bro. It's no problem. Yeah. I know you had to take your call.
I gotta drop so much because I ain't gonna see him for decades. So, but another great show.
Yes, sir, man. And I'm excited. We got a lot to talk about. You know what we didn't get to, Reggie? We didn't get to Frank Sanchez and Effie Ajaba, bro. They're fighting on that undercard with Wilder and Fury, and also Helenius and Kaunaki. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'll put it out there in the universe right now. I know that this coming Thursday, we won't be doing the Three Wise Men of Boxing because the brother, Scrapbook, is going to be celebrating his birthday this week, and so will Kurt Sugar. So, they won't be doing the show, but I'll still be doing a live stream. If you happen to be available, we can come on and do a heavyweight special live stream based on those guys that'll be showing up on the undercard, Reg.
And I'm looking forward to that Kawanaki Helenius fight as well. And I see Helenius getting some sparring in. Him and Wilder teamed up for this camp. So I want to see what transpires in that.
Yeah, it's gonna be big, man. I mean, can you imagine? It's like, again, we were talking about, what's happening in the division. It's like, and what's happening in the sport. It's like boxing is okay as long as the matches are being made. Huh? That's all you could ask of the sport of boxing. Make the matches and we will show up. Because that's what we want. We want to see the fights, bro. We want to see the fights. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're going to always have people who are for or against this or that, but listen, people want to watch the sport. You know what I mean? They want to watch the sport, and they want to see their fighters perform, whoever they're supporting. I just want to see good matches. That's all. But yeah, man, great show. Yeah, great show. I'm glad everybody that tuned in. It says that we had 76 thumbs up, Reggie. That means there was some people listening to us this evening, and I appreciate that. The channel is growing. The numbers are growing. We're seeing a lot of positive movement on the channel, and we're just pleased to bring you this content, and we hope that you guys settle in and buckle up for the ride, because we got a lot of mo. If you get up, a lot of mo. So, but this is it for this evening. For my man Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens, this is Stormy B. We're going to say salute. Have a good evening. For those of you going to check those fights out on Sky Sports tomorrow, check them out. And I might do a post-fight on them. I might not. I might be saving my post-fight energies for next Saturday night. So I've already put that reminder out too, Reggie. Post-fight for Fury Wilder 3. I put that reminder out already. I'm on it, man. I'm like ready to go, man. So yeah, just again, for everybody that's out there, go check out the video that's premiering in about 8 minutes, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace to everybody. Have a great weekend. We out of here.
Peace.